Today at Manchester Theatres, it is my absolute pleasure to be joined by Kwaku Fortune, who is going to be performing in Dancing at Lughnasa, coming to the Royal Exchange from the 10th of October. Now, Kwaku has performed across stage and screen in shows such as The Importance of Whatever, Normal People and Hidden Assets. And on stage, he's been in shows such as Playboys, Asking for It, and Floating Up There or something like that. They Float Up. That was it. They Float Up. I just changed the name of a play. But today we are here to talk all about dancing at Lughnasa. So thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, tell us a little bit about this story by Brian Friel.
Yes, it's a really gorgeous piece that I'd obviously seen before, but kind of reading it, you realize how kind of beautiful and devastating it is. So basically, it's a memory play that centers around Michael Evans, or an adult version of Michael Evans, who I play, and him recanting a year in his life, an important year in his life, the summer of 1936, when he was 7, and everything kind of changed. I suppose, like a pivotal moment of the loss of innocence and seeing his dad, who was absent, it only kind of came like once a year, and then I don't know, just seeing the household kind of break down. So that sounds quite dark, but it is kind of gorgeous and beautiful because Michael Evans is kind of grappling with this and talking about his past, but then you get to see the beautiful sisters just live out these amazing 3-4 weeks of a lovely summer in Donegal. So yeah, I don't know. It's just that's kind of what it's about, I suppose.
And as you said, you played Michael. So, and you've sort of said there as well that the story is told kind of through his lens. So,
Yeah,
it just tells a little bit about his relationship with these women in the play.
yeah. So they're all his aunties. Well, his mother and then his aunties. So he's kind of raised by his mother, who had him like out of wedlock, which is in 1936 Ireland is like they're being ostracized because of this. They're kind of outside the village. They've kind of made their own little compound and commune to kind of raise the child and protect their youngest sister, who has like essentially had a bastard child. So yeah, they're all completely different, and they're all essentially based on Brian Friel's aunties. He's dramatized it to make it a play and have it that bit of distance, I suppose. But it's pretty on the nose of what his aunties are like. Like the first thing of the play says for these brave Glenties women. So it's what's the word? He's written this for them to honor them, I suppose. So Kate is the eldest. She's a school teacher. She's kind of like the main breadwinner, and kind of the patriarchal role in the house. With the absence of a man, she is like kind of the pinpoint, I suppose. And then Maggie, who's slightly younger than her, she's kind of like, she keeps everything going. She manages the food, manages the house, manages the money, all that kind of stuff. And then Rose and Aggie both have their own way of making money. They knit gloves. And then Chris, as the youngest, is kind of, she does kind of all the odd jobs and is kind of protected in that way. And obviously looks after her son, I suppose, Michael. So yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you said that this did come about because of a conversation that Brian Friel had, and he ended up kind of going looking for his own ants, didn't he? And
Yeah.
then the play was kind of born from this real life thing that he did.
Yeah, which is tragic because he found them in London, I think, and they were like on the street and they were rough. And so I don't know. I don't want to give too much away about the story, but
Yeah.
that's kind of, yeah, essentially the catalyst to kind of write this, to honor them and how so much changed so fast. And I don't know, like it's really sad actually, because obviously when you emigrate, you're looking for hope and start a new life, but it kind of didn't work out for them, which is, yeah, devastating.
But it does look at how these, I mean, the women in this play, but women all over the world, really, if they find themselves in that position of having to kind of stand on your own 2 feet,
Yeah.
it really is sink or swim, isn't it, for them?
Yeah, big time. And I suppose maybe you say it shouldn't be that way, but it was a really hard time actually, and a hard time in Ireland, full stop, because like emigration, all the men were going away as well. And like if you have to get, it's mad because they talk about like going to this harvest dance, and that's the only opportunity you have once a year to try to meet someone and to find a mate. And the pool's getting smaller because all the men are emigrating to London or to America. Or so yeah, it's really hard to be, I don't know, to even just to be a human being in that time, I think. And he really writes the economics and how kind of not like they're basically very quite really poor, and trying to kind of survive in this world, and it's all very fragile. It's nothing is certain, which I think maybe we're kind of it's replicates where we are now a bit as well. It's all cyclical, but in a different way, where the church is really has such control in Ireland, and it's So yeah, anyway.
And what he also does is kind of this juxtaposition of the, like you say, because Michael's looking back, so there's all of this nostalgia, and with it comes like sentimentality that you're just like, oh, but then it's against the hardness of the reality and the darkness, and you've got them two things sort of vying in the same play. It's so clever, isn't it?
Yeah, it's such a genius way of telling the play as well, because I think Marcus Rutherford, who plays Jerry, he kind of hit on this like in week 2 or something, and I was like, yeah, that's genius actually, because what he does is you have Michael kind of pop in and out, kind of like, but a bit of exposition, but also kind of like tying up loose ends and telling the story. And he tells some quite devastating things, and you go back into the action of, they just go back into the action of the memory of their life that evening, and everything's up and buoyant. And it's so tragic because as an audience, what's going to happen to each of the women, because Michael is just told, but he doesn't end it there like that. In like conventional forms, sometimes that'll be the end of the play. Oh, everything is crap or whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. But then you have them just live on this beautiful evening and summer evening and just live with each other. And it's tragic and beautiful, but you as the audience know what's going to happen, but still you get to see them just live their lives. And I think it's just, he was an absolute genius, actually. It was just such a well-crafted play.
Yeah. And it's so clever as well that it just brings up this whole different element that, like you said, the play is talking about these 5 women, but it's Michael's memory of them. So the audience only get what Michael remembers. And so it's based on memory, and do we remember things correctly? And then the language that he uses to deliver it, kind of adds the layers of how we view these people.
It's incredible, and you're so right in terms of memory, because it does get a bit askew. Because even when we're doing like the timeline, we're like, that doesn't make sense. He says it's 3 weeks, but actually that doesn't make sense. So you kind of have to take it like, obviously you trust Michael as a narrator, but at the same time, memory is so fluid and hazy, and it's from a point of view. It's not objective. It's subjective. So you have to kind of try to find the fact within it. And what's also gorgeous is that, like, because Friel talks about Michael as being the boy who's always watching, and the way it's in the script, like he comes on stage and then he leaves, and then, but I think the beautiful thing is that he's always kind of there and just witnessing, even if the audience can't see him, because at times we were doing it, and I just wanted to, like, as for my character, just to be there and like witness my mum and dad dance and stuff, and I was hiding on the steps and just to feel what that was like, and it was beautiful. But obviously it's more impactful if the child is implied in that moment rather than adult Michael witnessing that. So he's just very clever in specifically when he places adult Michael on stage to witness, and when he's the boy off-site looking in, and also, it sounds maybe mad, but like, that saying, like, if a tree falls and there's no one around, does it even fall? And I'm always like, that's so egotistical as the human race to think that everything is centered around us. And I think what's beautiful about this is that the memory keeps going even when Michael is not on stage, because their life still did keep going. There was stuff that he didn't see, and it's all being pieced together. So I don't know. I think it's been a joy to work on, actually. It's a really amazing.
So when you get a script like this that you say is so different, and it's memory and it's flitting back and forth, like, do you read, I don't mean it doesn't make sense, but do you read a script like that and go, I want to do it, but how is this going to work?
Yeah, and I mean, for me as well, I suppose I have seen it. So I've seen it, and I've seen it done well and stuff. And I think maybe I've seen it twice, and the other time was okay. But so, but I always felt it was such a beautiful play, but I don't remember it being so devastating.
Mm.
Because I met reading it, I was like, oh, I was just in bits. I was like, God, this is so hard. What's happened to these women? And oh, I don't remember it. And I think what Elizabeth has created is because I've seen it done where actually it is quite light and the undercurrent is quite rough. And I think Elizabeth still has a beautiful undercurrent, but also she doesn't shy away from the darkness of it. I think we have. Well, I don't know. I can't say because I haven't seen it on the outside, but I think what we hopefully have created is like something that has all the colors, the ups and the downs, and the make you laugh, make you cry kind of thing. So, sorry, I don't know if that answered your question.
No, you did. Yeah. No, that makes sense. And of course, when all the language stops and these women kind of run out of words, we've got the dancing, and
Yeah,
and tying in with what you've just said, seeing it in different productions, because I haven't seen it yet, but I've read a lot about it in different productions and stuff, and it seems that there's kind of a different undercurrent, whether the dancing kind of comes from a rebellion or a freedom or like a challenge.
yeah,
So how is it kind of presented within this play?
yeah. I think for us, and I don't want to speak for the beautiful work that all the women have created, but I think watching it, it's like a primal kind of release because they're so squashed and like so repressed in a way they can't express it. They can't even go to these dances anymore because they're being shamed by Chrissy having a child out of wedlock. So they're totally isolated and alone. And I think that kind of pressure cooker, and you can see them kind of at each other. And then Maggie is really the one who's always trying to keep it light and putting out fires all over the place. So when the dance comes, it's and Maggie starts it. It's a real. It comes from a sense of loss, like grief for their lives that they
Yeah.
haven't lived, and it's like, yeah, you should see it. Like when she starts, it's like she like I don't know. I hope she's done it every night. So, but she lets out this like absolute like guttural kind of like scream, or scream is the wrong word. I don't know. I don't even know how to express it. It's just like
Yeah.
comes from deep down, this release. And I think it's primal. And I think the way he writes the ending where like um language is less important than words, like it's the movement, the music, it goes beyond thought. I think what they've created, and uh Sundeep Sunny, she's the movement director. What she's created with them, I think it's just beautiful because it just builds and builds, and it's really intense. And sometimes the audience kind of laugh because they're actually a bit uncomfortable because it's
Yeah.
so like vulnerable and they're really burying themselves. And then you have the moment where it stops and they're all kind of come back like what, and then that's where the pressure cooker starts again, and then we have Jerry coming in. So yeah, I think it comes from like a primal thing, like
Mm.
it's the brain has been not disconnected, but like it's the body is more important in that
Yeah.
moment.
It
Yeah,
just becomes the real self rather than all
yeah,
the layers that have been.
exactly. It's like
Yeah.
transcendence,
Yes.
not
Yeah.
transcendental meditation, transcendence. That's,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
So
Words, please.
finally, we're looking at all these like big sort of important, strong influences that Michael has remembered and everything, and maybe shaped him. So how about you? Who have been your kind of strong influences that have supported you and helped you get where you are now at the top of your game?
It's a very long list. I suppose definitely my mum and dad, really, they've been kind of great and helped me through a lot of stuff throughout my life and just created a really loving home. My younger brothers, actually,
Yeah.
um, maybe the second one down, Phelan in particular. I know they're all taller than me and more handsome, and so I kind of look up to them even though I'm the eldest. But I think I've had so many mentors. Actually, I've been lucky in that kind of way. Um, like a guy kind of like I've moved. I had a bit of a troubled kind of teenage time, or whatever. So I was out of the house for a while, and I was staying with a guy called Paul Pascoe, he's like a South African guy. He was with my cousin at the time. I'm godfather to one of his kids and stuff, and he was just, yeah, he was kind of just like another kind of father figure for me, and was just incredible, and taught me about like, especially, sorry, I'm absolutely rambling, but
Not at all.
but really importantly about like cleaning as you go and don't waste trips, like because we used to do a lot of handiwork and build stuff, and he's like, why are you moving from there to there and you haven't brought a tool back, or don't waste any journeys, and the things that are really simple but actually I think that have really helped, like always make your bed, or like all these simple kind of things that really helped kind of settle my mind, I suppose, and
Yeah.
stuff I've kind of brought with me, and loads of other deeper things. He's just been incredible. I actually haven't been in touch with him for a while, so that's kind of brought that up. But anyway, yeah, so I think probably I'll say him, yeah.
Yeah. And I've got a friend who lives in Donegal, and she was saying that, oh, it's so different to like Manchester. When we met and we were telling stories, she's like, oh no, you leave your back door open and you'll come down and the postman's there making himself a brew. Is it like that?
To be honest, I'm from Wicklow, which is just south of Dublin, so I can't really speak. I've been to Donegal maybe twice and just kind of passing through. So I assume if she says that, I assume that's what it's like. Because sometimes, yeah, the country in Ireland, I'm from the country, but I mean, we do lock our house, I'd say, because I think there's kind of.
I know I would as well. Like, you might
but,
want to be postman, love.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're friendly with the postman. I don't know if he's ever been in the house for a cup of tea. Oh, no, actually, I tell a lie, like our old postman, he used to come in for a cup of tea and stuff way back in the 90s. So, yeah, no, I'm not surprised by that, actually. That's like small town Ireland. There is that kind of like sense of community and ease, I suppose, and comfort, and everyone knows each other. So it'd be hard to steal something because everyone would know. I don't know. So
Everyone
maybe,
would know, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, thank you so much for your time today. Honestly, I've really, really enjoyed it, and I cannot wait for this play to come to the Royal Exchange. You can catch it from the 10th of October, dancing at Lughnasa. Come along, it just sounds like it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Kwaku, thank you so much for your time, and we will see you really soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. Can't wait to come up to Manchester.
Thank you.
Bye.
But there is one memory of that Lughnasa time that visits me most often. And what fascinates me about that memory is that it owes nothing to fact. When I remember it, I think of it as dancing. Dancing with eyes half closed because to open them would break the spell. Dancing as if language had surrendered to movement. As if ritual, this wordless ceremony, was neither way to speak, to whisper private and sacred things, to be in touch with some otherness. Dancing as if the very heart of life and all its hopes might be found in those assuaging notes and those hushed rhythms and in those silent and hypnotic movements. Dancing as if language no longer existed, because words were no longer necessary.